Boy, was last night crazy or what for the 2017 NFL draft? Oh my God. Honestly, I expected some shenanigans to happen. I expected a lot of things to happen with this draft, but man, dude, if this draft did not show you anything, and especially to a college kids looking to play in the NFL next year, you better hope you kill it at the combine. Because a lot of players, a reason why they got drafted was because they killed it at the combine. That's pretty much what you have to do nowadays if you want to succeed in the NFL and you want to get drafted. You got to kill it at the combine. You got to have good pro days because a lot of players who got drafted earlier on is because they had wonderful combines. And a lot of the players that didn't get drafted that could be studs, it was because they had bad combines or they didn't participate at all in the combine. So with the NFL draft, it was kind of shocking what I was watching, and I couldn't believe some of the values that quarterbacks have in this draft. Oh, my God. And what is considered a weak quarterback class, there was 3 quarterbacks taken in the first round of the 2017 NFL draft, 3 of them. And teams had to trade up to get them. No team was able to just sit there and take their guy. No, they traded up to get the 3 quarterbacks that were taken in this draft. That's insane. But we will talk about that as we'll talk about every pick in the first round of the 2017 NFL draft. If you guys are watching this live, make sure you give this video a big old thumbs up and share it with all the people on Twitter, Facebook, or whatever universe you want to share it on. 17 NFL draft live in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. First time ever, I believe it was taking place in Philadelphia. Had a nice little setup. Roger Goodell was on point tonight, or last night, I should say, where he came out and he was trying to get the fans to get all riled up, boo him. He's like, all right, come on, guys, get pumped and stuff like that. Good on Roger Goodell. I'm glad Roger Goodell's trying to have some fun with his life. I mean, he can take the fun off the field, but at least try to have fun at the draft, Roger Goodell. Don't be too much of a stricter, man. Don't be too much of a stricter. But yeah. Anyways, with the first pick of the NFL draft, the Cleveland Browns just kept it simple. They said, screw it. We're not going to be cute here. We're not going to shock the world and take Mitchell Trubisky. We're just going to take the best player, and that's Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett is the best player in this draft. He's definitely up there. He's like top 5. Like, I don't think he's like the worst. I think he's top 5 for sure. Definitely top 5 player in this draft class. But with the consensus of what NFL GMs and scouts and what the media thought, he was the best player in this class. And the Cleveland Browns didn't overthink it. They were like, hey, look, we're changing to a 4-3 scheme. Let's get a player that's going to help be a difference maker in that 4-3 scheme. Let's draft who a lot of people say is the best player in this draft class. Let's just draft Myles Garrett. This was a good move. The Browns did not overthink it. They did not say, oh, well, we're not going to get this guy. We're going to go with the quarterback because quarterback is such a value commodity. Look, drafting Mitchell Trubisky at number 1 is like drafting Cody Kessler, who they currently have at quarterback, as number 1. If you draft Mitchell Trubisky at number 1 and you pass up on Myles Garrett, what the heck are you doing? They made the right move. They got the right guy. Myles Garrett's going to be a stud for them. He is going to help them win some football games. Then at number 2, got interesting. So I remember just watching the draft, and I was at work too, by the way, watching the draft. I remember looking at the screen, and I saw at number 2, that's the Chicago Bears traded up. I was like, whoa. Who are they trading up for? Well, there was only really one answer. Solomon Thomas? That's who I thought they were trading up for. I mean, I was like, God, they have to be trading up for Solomon Thomas, right? What? Because you know the 49ers are going to take him. You know that the 49ers are just like literally going to take him. So you want him. So you offer up a pretty good price, to be honest. You offer up your number 3 overall pick. You offer up your 3rd round pick this year. And 3rd round picks, especially if you're a Chicago Bears fan, you know those are important. You know, as a Bears fan, recently you got Will Sutton, Jonathan Bullard out of the 3rd rounds. I mean, you've gotten some decent players out of those 3rd rounds. You think you would want to keep them. Oh, they gave it up to go up to number 2. And did they draft Solomon Thomas, the defensive end, out of Stanford? Oh, no. Oh, no, they did not. with the second pick of this draft and the first what the fuck move that we saw, the Chicago Bears took Mitchell Trubisky. Oh, God. Mitchell Trubisky. That's who the Bears decided to go with. So you traded up because you felt the 49ers, a team who doesn't have a quarterback right now. I mean, yeah, they signed Matt Barkley. Yeah, they signed the Hoyer the Destroyer. But a team that doesn't have a quarterback right now, with a new head coach, you felt like that they were going to go and draft Mitchell Trubisky. The fact that the Chicago Bears were conveying Mitchell Trubisky like this is ridiculous to me. And the fact that they traded up one whole spot and gave up so much while the 49ers just gave up their number 2 overall pick. What geniuses by the 49ers. They're making John Lynch look like he's like the greatest GM right now for taking this trade. John Lynch was just gift wrapped to this, man. John Lynch didn't do anything. He literally picked up the phone. He was like, hey, cross my fingers. If we don't get Solomon Thomas, at least we're getting Leonard Fournette. To the 49ers, this was a win-win situation here. There was no way they were losing here. Because if the Bears would have taken Solomon Thomas, guess what? San Francisco was just going to bounce back and take Leonard Fournette. They had interest in Leonard Fournette because Kyle Shanahan, the coach, doesn't really like Carlos Hyde. They were going to probably take the best running back in this draft class too. So it's just like, screw it. They didn't care. They were winning either way. They got more pick compensation. A third round this year and a third rounder next year? Shit. So the Bears traded up, and they didn't even take the right guy. They took Mitchell Trubisky. They didn't take Solomon Thomas. It made no sense. And then the 49ers, the next pick, they're just like, okay, whatever, Chicago. We're going to take Solomon Thomas. Oh, funny stuff. Funny stuff in the NFL draft early on. That's funny. I typed it. I was trying to get my draft video out there, and I went to my WWE Payback video. Which, by the way, yes, I will have a live review for WWE Payback. Should be fun. Yes. Yeah, the NFL Draft 2017 here. Please share this video. I like doing other sports videos, but I would love to support. Maybe I'm doing this video way too early. That's probably what the matter is. Because like normally I would get people, but like I think I'm doing it too early. I should have done it later, but I was just so hyped from this draft class. But yeah, Solomon Thomas was drafted number 3. The Jacksonville Jaguars took Leonard Fournette at number 4. Honestly, a great pick there for them. They needed a playmaker on offense. TJ Yeldon and Chris Ivory were not getting it done. They needed someone like Leonard Fournette to come there and help make an impact on that offense. Maybe having Fournette will help Blake Bortles, even though I think Blake Bortles is not that great anyways. But yeah, no, Fournette, overall-wise, was probably the best running back in this draft class. You know, when it comes down to what he can be, like the dude in the stud level that he can be. Leonard Fournette is definitely one of the better prospects, so I was fine with them taking them at number 4. Tight end taking Corey Davis, the wide receiver out of Western Michigan, at number 5. Corey Davis, it was between Corey Davis and Mike Williams. It just depended on what you like more out of your receivers. Corey Davis being chosen at number 5 was a good pick. He's going to help Marcus Mariota out. Mariota needs another target besides Rashard Matthews and Delaney Walker. So I like this pick by the Tennessee Titans. I felt Corey Davis was the second best receiver in this class. So I was fine with it. Oh, the number 1 receiver my team got, so that's why. The Jets at number 6 taking Jamal Adams out of LSU. Honestly, this was just best player available. They were just like, we can't believe that Jamal Adams and Jonathan, because people are forgetting Jamal Adams was projected to be taken into the top 5. Really in the top 5. So, like, the Jets were just like, shit. We're just going to take the best player available. We're taking Jamal Adams. Screw it. It's between him or Jonathan Allen. So I can't really knock the Jets. I mean, like, they conveyed Trubisky too. The Jets were looking at Trubisky. Now, the Jets could have easily traded down, and they could have gotten a quarterback, but they just said, screw it. We're just going to go with our luck here, and we're going to take Jamal Adams. Can't blame them. The Los Angeles Chargers, my team, with the number 7 overall pick, had 2 options that I would have liked. And they chose one of them, which I was fine with. It wasn't the option that I really, really wanted. I wanted Jonathan Allen out of Alabama. One, because I'm an Alabama fan, and I really like Jonathan Allen. I think him and Joey Bosa would kill all the opposing QBs of the league. But I was fine with their pick. It was just more of like I wanted Jonathan Allen a little bit more. But I was fine because my second person that I wanted out of this draft was Mike Williams. I like Mike Williams. Big target. Could be our real number 1 wide receiver with Keenan Allen always being injured. Like the pick, like the selection. Can't complain about what the San Diego shit, dude, I'm still used to that. What the Los Angeles Superchargers did here, because Mike Williams is going to definitely help out Phillip Rivers. To me personally, it was either A, get more pieces for Gus Bradley's defense because we need more pieces in a 4-3 defense, or B, draft playmakers for Phillip Rivers. That's what you need to do in this draft. But they're going with the B right now, and I'm fine with that. If you're going to draft a playmaker like Mike Williams, I am great with that. Like I said, drafting a safety this side, like, yes, Jamal Adams and Malik Hooker are special talents, but honestly, there's a lot of great secondary players in this draft. A lot of good offensive linemen have slipped in this draft. Good stuff. All right. Carolina Panthers at number 8 took Christian McCaffrey. Man, McCaffrey's combine, dude, really helped that kid out, man. I first remember McCaffrey was like late 2nd round, early 1st. But no, man, Christian McCaffrey taking number 8 overall. Good for the kid. I think he's going to help Cam Newton out. Good pick by Washington. Now, the Bengals, I just did not understand this pick. Now, the Cincinnati Bengals must have been licking their chops at this point. Like, they must have been like, oh, man, Jonathan Allen and Malik Hooker are here? Oh, we got to take one of these kids for sure. No, the Bengals were just like, screw it. Can Jonathan Allen run a 4.22 40? No. What about Malik Hooker? Nope. They took John Ross at number 9. Now, I like John Ross. I think he's a fun player. He's definitely one of those video game players. Oh, when you play Madden next year, you're going to be abusing the fact that John Ross can probably run 97 or 98 speed because he ran that 4.22 40. Don't get me wrong, it's fun watching fast players succeed. And honestly, John Ross, the thing about John Ross, he's a very interesting player. John Ross could either be really, really good, or he can just be a total flop. There's no like in between. It's just like he's either going to be really, really good and be a great compliment to AJ Green, because having a speed guy next to AJ Green, that's deadly. And I don't think John Ross is a terrible route runner. I feel like the thing is he's just too fast for his own good. Like, he will hurt himself because of how fast he is. I think his hands are pretty solid. I think that's something that he definitely needs to work on. He could either be someone that's really special for the Bengals, and the Bengals will have a 1-2 punch for the next 5 to 10 years that will wreak havoc, or John Ross will end up just flopping out, and he'll be known as the guy that broke Chris Johnson's 40 record. I like the guy. I think he's a good player. I just have to wait and see. John Ross is definitely a wait and see type of player. But then the Buffalo Bills. Screw it. Kansas City, you want this number 10 overall pick? And Kansas City's like, yeah, because we know you guys don't have a quarterback. And the Bills are like, ha, we do. His name is Tyrod Taylor. We may not like him as much as we used to, but we still believe in the kid. All right. So do you want to make a trade? Sure. The Chiefs got the number 10 overall pick, and the Bills got their first round pick of this year and the first round pick of next year. Holy shit. I honestly was like, who are the Chiefs trading up for? And then, like, I was thinking about it. I was like, oh, it might be Patrick Mahomes. It might be Deshaun Watson. That's who they're trading up for, because, look, they knew that the Bills, like, when you looked at the next few picks, of this draft, it was the Bills at 10, the Saints at 11. I forgot who originally was at 12, but you also had the Arizona Cardinals. Bills at 10, Browns at 12, Cardinals at 13. Those next 4 picks, oh, those were quarterback picks. Like, you knew that one of the other quarterbacks were going to be taken around those picks. Either Mahomes or Deshaun Watson, one of those two are going to be taken within those 4 picks, if not both of them. Because you look at the Bills situation, they don't really believe in Tyrod Taylor all that much. They've been wanting to get rid of him for quite some time, I guess. I didn't know that. I thought they liked the guy, but now they have made up and stuff like that. But hey, they could have easily taken a quarterback here, just saying, "Hey, Tyrod, remember when we made up? Screw it. That was all a lie." And then you look at the Saints. I'm pretty sure they want to get someone behind Drew Brees and breed them up. You look at the Cleveland Browns. All you really got to say. And you look at the Cardinals. I think they would love some young blood instead of Carson Palmer right now. So, of course, Kansas City had to make this move because if they wanted the guy that they wanted, they need to trade up. Because these next 4 picks, it was murderer's row. Your quarterbacks are getting taken. And Kansas City traded up, gave up a lot. Wasn't a fan of what they gave up. But, hey, they drafted a guy that they feel like is going to be their guy. They drafted Pat Mahomes, out of Texas Tech. A guy who I think is probably the best quarterback prospect in this draft class. A guy who I like watching a lot. And a guy who I feel like will learn and develop under White Michael Vick, a.k.a. Alex Smith, and do well. I like that the Chiefs said, hey, this is our guy and this is who we want. But at the same time, I didn't like what they gave up. It's so hard because, Patrick Mahomes is a good talent. I feel like if the Bears want to trade up for a quarterback and shock people, I would have been happier if they would have taken Pat Mahomes. I would have said, yeah, that's a great pickup. Mitchell Trubisky is just what the analysts say is the best quarterback. But I think Pat Mahomes' skill set and what he does and brings to the table, I think he's overall the best quarterback. Mitchell Trubisky is Andy Dalton. Pat Mahomes could be either between like a Brett Favre or, just a guy with a good arm. But yeah, the Chiefs traded up for their guy, and I can't blame them for it. The Saints afterwards were just like, oh, this is cool. We didn't think this guy would be honestly, I don't think the Saints were thinking that they were going to get this guy because there's so many other teams that were going to probably take him at quarterback. But they got Marshawn Lattimore, who is probably one of the best corners in this draft class. And the Saints just sat there. They just said, screw it. We're not going to do anything. We're not going to try to threat a quarterback. I'm pretty sure the Texans were calling the Saints do you want your number 11 pick because we need to pick so bad? And the Saints were like, nah, dude, don't worry. We're not taking a quarterback. Y'all are fine. And so then pretty much the Saints just said, screw it. We're taking Marshawn Lattimore, team him up with Devin Burrow, and there you go. Saints are getting better on defense. They need help on defense, too. They need every single help on defense. So this was a wonderful pick. Houston then with the 12th pick, they're just like, hey, Cleveland, you guys don't really need a quarterback, right? Come on, help us out here for a little bit, Cleveland. We got you. You guys want more picks? And the Browns are like, more picks? Yeah. We want more picks. And so the Texans were like, all right. We'll give you another first rounder. How does that sound? And the Browns are like, yeah, we'll take your 2018 first rounder. I mean, it's not going to be good because you guys might make the playoffs and win your division. But yeah, we'll take it. And so the Browns just traded down. And the Texans were like, we need one of these guys. We cannot go into the season thinking Tom Savage is the guy. We're going with Deshaun Watson. The kid out of Clemson, the guy that just won a national title. We're going with one of the most winningest college quarterbacks. Great leader on and off the field. Tattooed attitude. I don't really hate this pick. I like this pick for the Texans because really, when you look at the Texans, they have the defense in place. They have the wide receivers and the weapons in place. They have the offensive line in place. They're just kind of missing a quarterback to kind of help them out. I feel like he pairs up well with Lamar Miller. And I feel like Deshaun Watson's going to help out the Texans a lot. I like the craftiness that Deshaun Watson brings to the table. And I feel like he's going to help the Texans out a lot. I don't hate this pick. But I understood why the Texans had to do it. I just don't like the value you're giving up. You're trying to tell me that Deshaun Watson is worth 2 first-round picks and that Pat Mahomes is worth 2 first-round picks, which I just don't agree with. I don't think Deshaun Watson's not a first-round talent, especially if you're – because he's a quarterback. Quarterbacks are always going to be considered first-round talents because of how rich a quarterback is. Quarterbacks are so important to have in the NFL. I just don't like the idea that, oh, they're worth 2 first-round picks. Like, honestly, man, this is like if someone were trading up in that weird 2011 draft for fucking Jake Locker or something like that. Like Jake Locker or Blaine Gabbert. You trade up to the first round thinking like, oh, yeah, those guys are going to be freaking great, and you give up a first-round pick. Are you going to try and tell me that they're worth 2 first-round picks? That's how I feel like it. You know, looking at the 49ers and Bears situations, the Bears are lucky they didn't have to give a first-rounder of next year. But still, I just don't like the idea of them giving up 2 first-round picks. But hey, the Chiefs and the Texans, they are both playoff teams. They both thought that, hey, maybe their guys would probably fall to them. But man, quarterbacks, they're so hard to get. And then at this point, Arizona was probably pissed off. Bruce Arians was probably was upset about this. He probably wanted one of these young quarterbacks. Oh, saying, get out of town, Carson Palmer. Yeah, but anyways. The Cardinals took on Hassan Riddick, linebacker out of Temple, which was a good pickup. I saw a lot of mocks putting him here. The Cardinals definitely need someone like Riddick to pair up with Deon Buchanan, and I think that would be a good linebacker pairing. But the thing was, like, I just didn't get was that it's like they still had Malik Hooker and Jonathan Allen on the board, and you just lost your big stud in Calais Campbell. Wouldn't you think like they would want someone to replace Calais Campbell and like freaking Jonathan Allen? Like I don't know. I just didn't understand what was Arizona thinking. Like they were just like, screw it. We're just gonna take the best player available that we have on our board. Like it's all Riddick's good, but it's just like Allen and Malik Hooker, they're still there. Philadelphia taking Derek Barnett. Love this pickup for Philadelphia. I think this is definitely going to help out that pass rush. Will help out Benny. What's his name? The stud that they have. I always forget. Fletcher Cox. There we go. We'll help out Fletcher Cox. We'll help out Brandon Graham. I like this pickup. Derek Barnett, I think, is a stud. I love Derek Barnett. You know, I may overrate him and another player that I'll talk about later on in this draft, but I love Derek Barnett, man. I feel like in the beginning of his career, he's going to be a great situational pass rusher for the I'm saying Tennessee because he used to play for Tennessee, but for the Eagles, I feel like he's going to be a great situational pass rusher for the Philadelphia Eagles. But honestly, I feel like he's going to be one of the better players that comes out of this draft. I think a lot of people are going to hear this name a lot, and a lot of people are going to be like, oh, when they do the remock drafts, they're going to draft Derek Barnett super high. But honestly, he's in the right position where he should be drafted. You know, I'm a huge fan of this guy. I feel like he should have been drafted a little bit higher. You know, honestly, if my Chargers would have taken him, I wouldn't have been upset either. But Derek Barnett's a really good player, and I think he's going to do well in Philadelphia with Brandon Graham and everything like that. I just feel like, you know, a lot of people are going to look at this pick and be like, well, yeah, Derek Barnett's good. Jonathan Allen. It's like, whatever. At 15, the Colts were like, screw it. We just hit the jackpot. And they took Malik Hooker. They need help on defense. And Malik Hooker is going to help them on defense. Yeah, he had the injury, but man, this kid's special. This kid is freaking special. This guy's going to do good things. And I think Indianapolis Colts fans should be happy that they got a player like Malik Hooker. And I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing his name wrong. I'm just going with what I said. So, yeah. Moving on forward, the Baltimore Ravens made me cry a little bit, letting that Make-A-Wish kid make a pick. I love when they do that Make-A-Wish stuff, man. I love that stuff. It's really nice. I know everyone's like, it's just a company ploy to save face. And you know what? You can be all negative about it as you want. I liked it, man. And that kid looked so ecstatic when he was giving the Ravens pick. Like, that was so funny. He was like, with the 16th pick in the NFL draft, the Baltimore Ravens. And he just fist pumps because he loves the pick. And I can't blame him, man. Humphrey out of Alabama. The Ravens need a secondary help, man. Like, here's the thing. I felt like a lot of people were like, oh, how could Ozzie Newsome not take Jonathan Allen? I was like sitting there like, no, first of all, Jonathan Allen does not fit with what the Ravens want to do, okay? The Ravens are fine on the front seven. Yeah, Jonathan Allen would be great to add in the front seven, but the Ravens need some help in the secondary department, man. Like Steve Smith, who used to be a Raven, or currently is a Raven. I don't even know what he is right now. Steve Smith retired. Steve Smith Sr. I'm just asking. I don't remember. But Steve Smith was even saying, they need corners. I would burn all their corners in practice. Being savage, man. I mean, Ladarius Webb is a great corner, but you need some young blood, man. You're going against A.J. Green. You're going against Antonio Brown. Right there, those are two of the top 5 receivers in the league. Yeah, the Browns may not have any great receivers, but Kenny Britt's pretty crafty as a veteran, and maybe Corey Coleman has an explosive breakout second sophomore year. Let's not forget about other guys that the other teams have. Martavis Bryant. Oh, dude, probably one of the most scariest receivers in the league if he ever gets his head on right up for the Steelers. And then also for the Bengals as well, they just drafted John Ross, a guy who's a really, really speedy type of dude. And then let's not forget the veteran Brandon LaFell in there. Yeah, LaFell sucks, but I'm just saying he's still a veteran. He still has some moves in his arsenal. I mean, yeah, they had to draft a freaking corner in this situation. They got a good guy. I like Marlon Humphrey. And it's not because, oh, Chase, you're an Alabama fan. You love your Alabama players. Yeah, I love all my Alabama players, damn it. I want them all to do fucking well. I love them. Roll Tide. But, man, dude, I can't blame them for this pick. And then at number 17, Washington broke my heart. Like, I swear to God, dude, if you would have told me that the Chargers could have walked out with Mike Williams and Jonathan Allen in this draft class, I would have done backflip. But the Redskins were like, arthritis in the shoulders. Ah, fuck it. We're taking Jonathan Allen. He's going to make that front seven even scarier. Jonathan Allen's a stud. Washington, you should be happy you got him. Overall, if you ask me, and maybe this is the Alabama bias coming in, he was the best player in this draft. To me. Number 18. The Tennessee Titans took Adoree Jackson with their second pick in the first round. Good. Adoree Jackson could be a wonderful cornerback for them. Could have great kick return potential. He has fast. Speed. Dude is great. And I feel like he's going to do great things for the Tennessee Titans. Now, a lot of people thought they're going to take O.J. Howard here. And yeah, adding O.J. Howard with Delanie Walker would have been a good 2 tight end set, especially since you just drafted Corey Davis. Get Super Mariota a little bit more weapons to play with, and it would have been cool to get 2 of the best weapons in the draft, and O.J. Howard and Corey Davis. But honestly, I can't blame them for taking Adoree Jackson. Like, Adoree Jackson, like, honestly, for where he was picked and other quarterbacks where Jerry might get picked, yeah, kind of a little bit of a reach, you could say. But, you know, I don't mind it. I think he's a good player. So, O.J. Howard getting to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Hopefully this helps Jameis Winston, because Jameis just needs a tight end, dude. He just needs a good tight end to throw to. I don't know who he was throwing to, Connor Brait or whatever his name is. He just needs a good tight end. O.J. Howard's going to be a good tight end for him, because this isn't Alabama where they're going to forget that he exists. He's actually going to get a lot of balls thrown to him. Like, that's what Jameis needs, and especially because Jameis looked good last year. So, I mean, they passed up on Dalvin Cook, and Dalvin Cook, oh, he fell. He fell pretty far. The Broncos taking Garrett Bowles, the offensive tackle out of Utah. Good pick. They need to protect their young quarterback, whether it's Trevor Siemian or Paxton Lynch. You know that the Chargers have Joey Bosa and Melvin Ingram screaming off the edge. You know that the Raiders have Khalil Mack. Maybe what's that idiot's name? Alden Smith and Bruce Irvin screaming off the edge. The Chiefs with Dontari Poe, Justin Houston, Tamba Hali. You need to protect that young quarterback. That was like one of the problems with the Broncos last year, is like, minus Russell Okung, they didn't really have that much good protection for Trevor Siemian, man. And especially Trevor Siemian, he took a lot of hits. So it was good that they were able to get a guy like Garrett Bowles to help protect their quarterback. That's fine. The Detroit Lions took Jarrad Davis. I mean, Reuben Foster was still on the board. If you guys wanted a linebacker, you're going to take a Reuben Foster. Like, Jarrad Davis, I don't think Jarrad Davis is bad. I think Jarrad Davis is one of those, like, he's definitely someone that people like. He's not like the biggest name when it comes to the linebacker position, but he's definitely someone that has great speed and is like kind of like what teams look for in linebackers. Maybe that's what the Detroit Lions were looking at. They're just like saying like, hey, that Dion, that whatever, what's his name from the Falcons that did really good, the linebacker, what's his name again? I always forget his name. He's a really good kid. Dion Smith played for LSU. I know that. If anyone knows, please put in the chat what his name is. Dion Smith. Do you guys know who the Falcons linebacker is? Dion Jones. I think that's his name is Dion Jones. Because it's Keanu Neal was the safety, and then their second punt that took Dion Jones, I believe. Yeah, I know, but maybe that's what they were going for because they were just like, oh yeah, the Falcons are great with Dion Jones. So yeah. The Miami Dolphins taking Charles Harris. Solid. Good defensive end. Could replace Cameron Wake in the near future. Sometimes remembering football players' names is so hard. But it was just kind of, for me, it was just kind of like, there are so many other needs that they could have taken here that it was just like, I don't know. I just wasn't a fan of the Charles Harris pick. I felt Charles Harris, to be honest, was a little bit overrated in this draft prospect. And I feel like he was like a second-round pick or a third-round pick at most. So I kind of feel like the Miami Dolphins reached here. Just my personal opinion. But, hey, who knows? Maybe Charles Harris will prove me wrong. The Giants. Oh, I don't know what the fuck the Giants were thinking here. Evan Ingram. I mean, David Njoku was still around. And they took Evan Ingram. Ingram's a good tight end. I don't think Ingram's bad at all. I think Evan Ingram's going to be a decent tight end at the NFL level. But I don't know. It's just like, for me personally, it's like, Evan Ingram, really? I mean, he's one of those guys that definitely can play receiver too. Like, he's one of those guys that could be a matchup nightmare. And, like, yeah, you're saying, like, oh, you had Odell Beckham with Brandon Marshall and Evan Ingram and also Sterling Shepard. Like, yeah, that sounds like a great receiving core. But I don't know. Just wasn't a fan. I felt like because David Njoku was still on the board that they would have taken him. They were looking for a tight end. Or I thought that the Giants would trade down, to be honest here, because they could have gotten Evan Ingram at a later time. But hey, it is what it is. The Raiders. Oh, man, the Oakland Raiders. I love when the Raiders draft, man. The Raider unknown. You don't know what the Raiders are going to do, and they said, fuck it. We're going with Gareon Conley out of Ohio State. Hey, man. He's a great player, Gareon Conley. But the only problem is we don't know if he raped this one girl or not. We just don't know. He hasn't been interviewed by the police yet. So either this is like, hey, the Raiders got a really good player out of this draft class, or it's like, what were the Raiders doing drafting a rapist in the first round? That could probably not play for them this year. It's like the DJ Hayden pick. Remember when DJ Hayden was picked in the first round? It's like, yeah, DJ Hayden's like a nice player, but he has that heart condition. Gonna be good? Because, like, what if his heart explodes or something like that on the field? Gareon Conley's a good player. It's just we don't know what he's going to be. The Cleveland Browns with the 25th pick took Jabril Peppers. I like this pick. I like watching Jabril Peppers play. He was one of my favorite college players to watch last year. Like, I didn't think he was like the best player in this draft or anything. Just personally, just watching him, he was one of the best players that I've seen play. But like with Jabril Peppers, he was just fun. It was just fun to watch. And it's going to be fun watching him at the Cleveland Browns, whether you play secondary, whether they convert him to being an outside linebacker or a weak side linebacker or someone that plays the middle. I feel like he's going to do well with the Cleveland Browns. I think he's going to make a lot of fun plays, and I think he's going to be a little good player for the Cleveland Browns. Really like what the Browns did here. The Falcons. Oh, God. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking here, man. I honestly did not know what the Falcons were saying. So the Falcons, they were like, we need to trade up with the Seattle Seahawks. They gave up their third overall. They gave up the third round pick this year to go up and get Takaris McKinley. Now the Falcons, Takaris McKinley fits with what the Falcons like. They love speed. It's all about the speed, 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 speed. But he's injured. I don't know. Like, I'm not a fan of this pickup. But then again, how can I doubt the Falcons? They just went to the Super Bowl after all, so I should be praising them. But it's just like I don't know. Like, you're drafting an injured player. Yeah, he's fast. Yeah, he's good. But I feel like you could have got McKinley later in the draft. Like, that's what I don't like. They traded up to get him. Like, they were just like, oh, Seattle might get him. Like, I don't even think Seattle was thinking Takaris McKinley at all. I felt like Seattle was like, all right, we want an offensive tackle here. And they just realized, like, they lost their guy to the Broncos earlier on and Garrett Bowles. So they were just like, screw it. Let's just trade down. Let's get more draft currency. So, yeah. Karis McKinley. Good player. He fits what the Falcons like. They love the speed. But I just don't know. The Bills thinking Tre'Davious White, cornerback from LSU. Hey, they traded down from the number 10 pick to get this guy. That's good shit right there. Good on you, Buffalo. Not only did you trade it down, you got a good cornerback replacing Stephon Gilmore, who left you in free agency. You get a good cornerback in Tre'Davious White, and you get a first-round pick next year. I can't complain. Wonderful pick. 28. Tre'Davious White's a good player, too. I think he's going to do well in Buffalo. I feel like it's going to take him a couple years before we get to see what he can really do. But I think as a rookie, he's not going to be too bad. But at 28, the Cowboys got one of Chase Oliver's favorite prospects. There is 3 prospects who I absolutely loved in this draft process. Number 3 was Derek Barnett. Number 2 was Jonathan Allen. And number 1, I loved Taco Charlton. And it's not because of his name. I just loved what I saw on tape with this guy. I honestly, if the Chargers wanted to trade down or trade up to get this guy, I would have been pissed. I loved me some Taco Charlton. Like, he wasn't worth a top 10 pick, but I felt like this guy, if he fell into the second round, whoever got him, like, they were getting a really good player. And I love how the Cowboys just sat there and they got Taco Charlton. He is going to make an impact for the Dallas Cowboys, man. He is going to be an impact player. I don't know if it's going to be this year, but give it a couple years. This kid's going to make noise, man. Him and Derek Barnett are going to be chasing each other for sacks and everything in the league. These guys are good. Taco Charlton's awesome. I love this guy. Dallas, they're a great football team. The Cowboys are a great team. Their biggest weaknesses, they can't get after the quarterback, though. And they fixed that with Taco Charlton. Love this guy right here. Cleveland Browns, though, decided, hey, Green Bay, we kind of want to trade back up. And the Packers like, okay, we'll give you the second-round pick because we really don't need it, and a fourth-rounder. And Green Bay's like, all right. The Browns traded up, and they took David Njoku, the tight end out of Miami. A lot of people felt that he was the best tight end in this draft class, next to O.J. Howard. Honestly, I can't hate the Browns here for what they did. I honestly cannot, because, like, seriously, it's like, how can I hate the Browns for what they did here? They literally traded for a tight end who could help out Cody Kessler. To be real here, I was fine with what they did. I was fine. So, yeah. David Njoku, great pickup for the Cleveland Browns. Definitely someone that's going to help out young Cody Kessler or whoever else they put at that quarterback position, because you need a tight end. And him and Gary Barnidge, that's going to be a good little 1-2 punch right there. The Steelers doing what the Steelers normally do in the draft. They just sit there. They don't fucking make any moves. I hate the Steelers in the draft, dude. I honestly do. I honestly hate the Steelers in the draft because these motherfuckers will literally sit there, twiddle their thumbs during the whole draft, and some player will fall to them. Last year, I thought the Steeler magic was finally over because last year, dude, I thought they were going to walk away with one of these corners last year. I was like, oh, wow, the Steelers are finally going to walk away with one of these damn corners. But no, the Bengals screwed them over. Thank God. But the Steelers, man, they just sit there, do nothing, and they just say, we're going to let someone fall. I honestly was like, I swear to God, Jonathan Allen goes to the Steelers, I'm done. I can't handle this cheese. Nope. Even then, And they just pretty much just said, we're going to take TJ Watt. That was it. They just took TJ Watt. Good player. Can't complain. Yeah. So there you have it. TJ Watt. He's going to help out that team a lot. He's going to be a good pairing with Stephon Tuitt. Or be an outside linebacker. Oh, yeah, by the way, yes, TJ Watt is related to Houston Texans' J.J. Watt. So, there you go. Number 31, I thought the Seahawks were going to make a pick here, but nope. And this is weird. They traded with their division rival. Like, what the heck? Like, is Seattle just, like, in D-gap mode? Like, seriously, they traded with their division rival. And the 49ers really wanted to trade up. And I can't blame them why they traded up, man. I honestly can't blame them. And they didn't give up much to trade up to get a player like him. They traded up to get Reuben Foster. And they traded with the division rival. Man, that's some Brucey bonus points right there. I love this pick. They traded with the division rival. That's some legit shit right there. Like, a lot of times division rivals don't like trading with each other. The fact that John Lynch had balls, like, see, this is actually a good GM move by John Lynch. The Bears move, that's just more like they got get drafted that move. They were in a win-win situation. No, this takes balls. John Lynch picked up the phone, called up the rival GM of Seattle, and said, hey, I want the 31st pick. Give it to me. Here's what I'm offering. Boom, bam, thank you, ma'am. That takes balls. Respect right there. And then taking a great player like Reuben Foster. Look, with Navarro Bowman always being injured, you don't know what else you're going to get out of the linebacker position from all your linebackers. They have potential. You're changing, I believe, to a 4-3 scheme. He is going to help. He is literally going to help with that 4-3 transition. Reuben Foster is a great player. If there weren't injury concerns, he would have been taken at number 15 by the Eagles. No questions asked. Cardinals would have taken him with no questions, pairing him with Deon Buchanan. But yeah, man, 49ers get a good player in Reuben Foster, and I like it a lot. And then the Saints stunk up the joint, taking Ryan Ramczyk with the 32nd overall pick. And that was the first round of the 2017 NFL Draft. What an interesting draft this was. A lot of quarterbacks being traded. But, man, dude, like I said in the beginning, this draft showed that if you want to succeed in the NFL, if you want it where you want your team to do well, where you want to do well for yourself and you want to get drafted high, you need to do well at that combine. You got to make sure you're working on your 40 time and everything like that, all that goopy stuff. Because, man, a lot of players that got drafted high in this draft, it was because of their combine experiences. And a lot of players who slipped in this draft, it was because they either A, didn't participate in the combine, or they had bad combine showings. But honestly, winners for this day one of the NFL draft, I felt the Browns and the 49ers did an awesome job. They were winners to me because they were able to make trades and get players that they wanted and needed. I felt the 49ers just made themselves a little bit better on defense with Solomon Thomas and Reuben Foster. I felt the Browns attacked all the areas of concerns that they had, and they did a good job filling up with BPA, best player available. They didn't try to play cute or be fancy. They drafted Myles Garrett. They drafted Jabril Peppers, and then they also drafted Njoku. That was good stuff. I can't blame them there. Losers. To me personally, the Chicago Bears are probably the biggest losers of day one of the NFL draft. I feel a lot of teams that passed up on Jonathan Allen and didn't draft guys that were suitable or better than Allen are losers. Same guys who passed on Malik Hooker. So we'll have to wait and see on that if I was right. But overall, people were expecting me to rant about my Chargers pick. I was fine with who the San Diego Chargers wanted. Like I said, I wanted two players the Chargers to draft in this first round. If my camera can autofocus real quick. There was only two players. I wanted either Jonathan Allen or I wanted Mike Williams. I got one of those two. So I'm happy. I would have preferred Allen more just because I like Jonathan Allen a little bit more as a prospect. But yeah. Anyways, thank you guys very much for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed what you saw, hit that subscribe button down below. Give this video a big old thumbs up. I might try to do a day two recap, not pick by pick, but just talk about what I saw on day two if I can. If not, it is what it is. But thank you all very much for watching. Hope you guys have a good one. Enjoy your day.